My name is Carole, and I'm a student at East Tennessee State University. I am standing outside the office and day center of Interfaith Hospitality Network of Greater Kingsport on this Good Friday of 2012. This Interfaith can be found in a beautiful location of downtown Kingsport and is surrounded by many churches. Interfaith Hospitality Network is a homeless shelter for families. Interfaith works with many religious congregations who host families during the night and support the guests with food and other supplies. During the day, the guests are hosted here at the day center and receive the assistance they need to get back on their feet. This spring semester, I had the privilege to complete 30 hours of community service here at Interfaith for the Introduction to Service Learning class I am taking at ETSU. Interfaith Hospitality Network of Greater Kingsport currently can receive up to 5 families at once, and these families may be hosted for up to 90 days. During this time, the adults are required to actively seek employment and housing. The day center features a bathroom for the guests to shower, which is important since some host churches do not have showers. The day center also features a kitchen, a washing machine and dryer, and 5 bedrooms. The furniture in the bedrooms has been donated by individuals, and the families may take the beds, couches, or dressers with them when they have successfully finished the program and found a home. Afterwards, the guests enter a transitional program during which their case manager follows up with them and continue assisting them for another year. Throughout my service here at Interfaith, I had the opportunity to work on budget spreadsheets for the families, as well as various case management forms. I also had the honor of meeting several families and assisting them with their transportation needs or their registration to college. I even stayed overnight with the families at church once and had the opportunity to interact with the kids. I greatly admire the young mothers I have met for their courage and their resilience. In fact, most of the adults that Interfaith hosts come from broken families and have either been through foster care or have experienced domestic abuse or both. When coming through the doors of Interfaith, the guests often find themselves with no external support. They often have exhausted their networks of friends and relatives, as well as their financial resources. Many times, the families have lost their important documents, such as their social security cards and their birth certificates. Also, some mothers have never had a driving license, and they find themselves having to get one to find employment and to become independent. Mr. Carter, the director of Interfaith Hospitality Network of Greater Kingsport, believes that some of the causes for homelessness among families are the lack of jobs, the lack of skills, and he emphasizes on the lack of support network.
A support network we define as somebody you can turn to in times of trouble. If your child gets sick, you need somebody to babysit you, you have to have a family or friend who can do that. A lot of our folks don't have that. That can be in the form of family. Church groups are very, very important. But a lot of our people don't have somebody to turn to for something as simple as a car breaking down or a child getting sick. They don't make it to work, they lose their job, they can't pay their rent, and in 30 days they're homeless. So that support network is one of the biggest issues we have. Kingsport working together to help everybody keep their job, keep the kids in school, keep them in school.
Therefore, befriending families with poor support network is the best way we as a community can help prevent homelessness. Interfaith Hospitality Network of Greater Kingsport is comprised of 14 host churches for a total of 45 churches supporting this organization. According to Mr. Carter, that's a total of 800 people being involved with Interfaith. Mr. Carter affirms that the members of the churches really care about the families. Indeed, the churches are very dedicated in reaching out to the Interfaith guests and are very compassionate.
They really develop affection for these folks. They like them, they want them to succeed.
Some of the challenges that this interfaith facility currently faces are the lack of volunteers to do simple tasks such as driving the guests to appointments and the kids to school, or provide activities for the kids, especially during the summer. There is a great need of case managers as well.
We got 2 paid positions, 2 volunteer positions, but just the number of hours in a week is a big problem we have.
To help its guests achieve self-sustainability, Interfaith Hospitality Network of Greater Kingsport also has a community garden on its property. Many other nonprofit organizations participate in this community garden as well. Interfaith's guests plant vegetables in some of these beds in the garden, and they are responsible to maintain them. In return, they may partake of the food harvested from this garden. In this way, this community garden promotes healthy nutrition and self-sufficiency for the poor. Families represent the fastest growing segment of the homeless population today, and Kingsport is not spared from this trend. Our society is broken, and the economy is often blamed for it due to the lack of jobs and affordable housing. However, Interfaith Hospitality Network attempts to remedy this situation by helping families regain independence and self-sustainability. In fact, Interfaith is very versatile in helping its guests find a job, stay on budget, enroll in college, and get involved with other programs to facilitate their financial, emotional, and social stability. Like any other nonprofit organization, Interfaith Hospitality Network of Greater Kingsport is dependent on church and individual donations, as well as volunteers to run efficiently. Therefore, to win the fight against homelessness among families, the community needs, first, to recognize there is a problem with homelessness and it can affect everyone. Second, to decide to be involved in finding the solution to this problem.